It's not 9 a.m., it's 10 minutes past 9 a.m. A very good morning. My name is Sharon Chomjisha. Thank you so much for always being a part of the show and for always waiting and tuning in and commenting and leaving us those suggestions on whatever you think on our social media platforms. Thank you for always watching. And indeed, it's UBC TV inspiring Uganda. Now, Uganda Innovation Week, once codenamed as Kampala Innovation Week, was established in 2019 with the goal of bringing together the startup ecosystem in Uganda by Startup Uganda. We have one this year, and it's going to be running from the 22nd of November to the 24th of November. And we want to understand if actually this innovation of having Startup Uganda start up these events, has this changed anything in Uganda? Has this changed innovation in Uganda? Does Uganda have a chance when it comes to innovation? Do we actually even stand out, or is the future really bright when it comes to innovation? What significance has this event made, and what can people look forward to this time around between the 22nd of November to the 24th of November? In studio with me is Mr. Takayuki, Chief Representative JICA, and Mr. Kenneth Twesigye, Policy Lead Startup Uganda and founder TechBuzz Hub. A very good morning.
Good morning, Sharon.
You can introduce yourselves.
Thank you very much, Sharon. My name is Kenneth Twesigye, and I am the team lead and founder of TechBuzz Hub, which is an innovation hub that supports young entrepreneurs by providing them facilities that are affordable and flexible, like office space at 25,000 shillings already. But for purposes of this conversation, I am representing Startup Uganda, which is an association for innovation and entrepreneurship support organizations in Uganda with a membership of over 26 members. These are innovation hubs, these are entrepreneurship support organizations, and you could also say financial institutions that are supporting tech and startup companies. So briefly, that is about me. Thank you.
Okay. Please go on.
Good morning. My name is Takayuki Uchiyama. I'm a Chief Representative of JICA. JICA stands for Japan International Cooperation Agency, and we are implementing Japanese official development assistance together with the Japanese embassies. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, Startup, we just concluded a Science Week and Innovation at Kololo Airstrip with Dr. Msenero. And here we have Uganda Innovation Week, once codenamed as Kampala Innovation Week. Are we duplicating? Why wouldn't Startup Uganda join with Ministry of ICT, have something together than sort of different events, but all about innovation and science?
Great question. So globally, November is a month for innovation. And that is why the Uganda Innovation Week, which was previously Kampala Innovation Week, and why the change, by the way, is because there was a lot of concentration and conversation happening in Kampala, yet this should be a Uganda thing. And that informed, the reason for rebranding to Uganda Innovation Week. So why recently there was the Science Week, which was at Kololo, which we actually all embraced and attended, the Investors Forum, the startups pitching, but us having Uganda Innovation Week in the same time is to make sure that we go beyond Kampala. That is number one. Because innovation doesn't only concentrate in in Kampala. We know that there are innovations certainly in Western Uganda, Northern Uganda, Eastern Uganda. And so we need to take these conversations beyond just Kampala. And that is why we think we are not competing. We are just trying to make enough awareness that innovation is the way to go. Startups are the way to go, especially if our economy has to grow.
Okay, interesting. Now we'll talk about Startup Uganda. Thank you so much for the clarification and understanding that actually November is a month of innovation globally. So that makes very much sense. Startup Uganda. What is Startup Uganda?
Beautiful. So as earlier said, Startup Uganda is an entrepreneurship and Innovation Support Organization, which is a membership organization, of course, like any other association. So at Startup Uganda, we are basically trying to get the conversation of startups and be able to bring as much and more opportunities to do with learning or capacity building, to do with access to financing, to do with ability to attract more attention globally about our startup space in Uganda. So the Startup Uganda basically is like how you would say an umbrella body for all startups. Imagine if different startup hubs and innovation and entrepreneurship support organizations were working in silos, everyone doing their own thing. It means that there are certain opportunities you cannot embrace because of your small ability, small or limited exposure, and all that. But Startup Uganda comes in to make it so robust, to get opportunities, to tap into a lot of investment support that is out there, get partners like JICA who are on board. JICA might not easily come if you're an individual innovation hub, but if it realizes that 26 people are all speaking one voice, then they will gladly come in and say, hey, we have offer XYZ, would you love to take it? So Startup Uganda is basically like an umbrella body that is trying to help us collaborate and be able to attract as much attention, but also maybe source financing, source development partners like JICA and so many others.
Speaking of JICA, Mr. Takayuki, why did you decide to be supportive when it came to Uganda Innovation Week? And is this the first time actually you're getting on board as partners?
Yeah. Actually, this is our first time to actively participate and support Uganda Innovation Week. Historically and traditionally, JICA as a government entity and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan, we are closely working with the government of Uganda. We are implementing a lot of corporations and projects together with the line ministries of Uganda, but we realized, especially after COVID-19, innovation is very important for the future of the country. And if you look at the volume of the finance, private financing is much, much bigger compared with public financing. So that is a big potential. So through supporting startups, we can increase the number of employment opportunities, and so it directly benefit and contribute to the development of this country. So that's why we think this is a high time, even for JICA, to participate in this very attractive and active and wonderful spheres world.
You come from a country that is very developed, one of the top in the world. Is that how are you participating when it comes to Uganda Innovation Week?
Yes, you are right. Japan is a developed country, but that means we are not developing rapidly like Uganda. If you look at the Japanese societies, our median age of the population is 48 years old. That is the second oldest in the country. And the Uganda median age of the population is 15 years old. It's the second youngest in the world. So for us, Uganda is really shining, very fresh and growing rapidly. And on the other hand, in our society, it's a very aging society. And Japanese companies are really struggling to recruit fresh young talent. And one of the biggest challenges in Japan is the lack of successor of the companies. So many Japanese owners of the companies, they are facing, they have to sell their company or they close their businesses.
But how are you participating? Is it that JICA is bringing in funding? Are you bringing in innovation from Japan to sort of show us, teach us? What are you bringing on board?
Yeah, so especially after COVID-19 came, we started to support startups in Uganda. And we organized a Ninja event, NINJA stands for Next Innovation with Japan. So it's a business competitions. And we organized it twice. And as a first batch, we supported 3 startups. And the second batch, we supported 5 startups, but not limited to those winners. We are supporting all participated companies. So one of the reasons is we want to showcase those JICA-supported startups. And second reason is we'd like to, bring Japanese companies, Japanese investors to Uganda. To do so, first, I want to personally be connected with Ugandan talent and Ugandan startups. Then I can easily introduce, good one to Japanese investors.
Okay, interesting. Now, how many startups have you been able to help?
Great question. I think if we generally considered the startups that my hub, TechBuzz Hub, has supported, we last year alone,
is Tech Hub the same as Startup Uganda?
TechBuzz Hub is just an innovation hub that is a member of Startup Uganda. So when you ask me how many startups have you supported, I can easily tell you the numbers that my own hub has supported, and maybe we can consider an average and say, if TechBuzz Hub, for example, last year we supported over 6,000 young entrepreneurs. So if you took that same average and multiplied it with the rest of the 26 member hubs at Startup Uganda, you basically might get an average of over 1 million and about 1.2 million, people that have been supported by, startup-led and innovation hubs. And of course, this kind of support is different in its of course, different entrepreneurs need different interventions. And so there are people who just need skilling. There are people who need innovation facilities where you find that maybe a platform like Innovation Village might have about like 300 young innovators and startups that reside into the facility. Maybe Design Hub having about 150 and so many others that each of them house different startups on a daily basis. But when you ask about support, then we consider every type of support that members have been, providing. And I think 1 to 1.2 million young people have been supported. As you also know that in Uganda, 40% of employed people have tried starting up a business. Yes. And certainly quite a number of them. Exactly. Yes. So there is a lot of, people trying to start businesses. And our little contribution as Startup Uganda is, if that 1 million has been supported in just 1 year, how much would it be, for example, if the whole country got to know that this support is available, and maybe even government gets to listen to us and says, we are actually designating an environment that supports and actually startup entrepreneurs or even innovation hubs.
You talked about membership, but you also said, one of the things that you provide is space.
Yes.
At 25,000, is that per day, per month?
So that was specific to TechBuzz Hub. Every member of Startup Uganda has their own value offering, and our value offering begins at 25,000 Ugandan shillings. As long as you are assessed and you are a startup, in our own definition. We don't have yet a national definition, but we believe in a few months we shall have one, because there is a process of regulatory impact assessment that is in progress. We should be able to have at least a national startup policy, a national startup definition of startup in Uganda. But for TechBuzz, specifically we say, if you're a startup and you're assessed by our own definition and you qualify, then 25,000 is just a month, and that is remote office. That is the baseline we begin. So if you can move from the remote office and eventually now you want a physical facility, then we say we give you 50% discount of the standard services. And then our next package goes for 160,000 shillings a month also, and that gives you access to power, internet, drinking water, boardroom, furniture. You already find it in the facility. Did I say internet? And tea in the morning. So we make the process of starting up a business as affordable, because we already know the challenges a startup goes through. I myself have been a startup. I have run a startup, and so many companies that have been put in the briefcase for different reasons. So we literally understand the process. So that is just for tech buzz, but the different organizations have different offerings. There are those who only give co-working space as come and work in here, there is access to internet and furniture, that's it. There are people who give acceleration. So they want you to move from the idea to maybe growing to a bigger company. Maybe start serving other jurisdictions, or move from not only Uganda, but you can also, not only Kampala, go to Kenya, go to Eastern Uganda, Western Uganda, Southern Uganda, Northern Uganda. So it depends on what the hub, the mandate of the hub, or what the hub set itself out to do. There are those who even give you capital. So it's a general ecosystem that Startup Uganda brings together, so that if a startup, a tech buzz hub, is at a stage of growing up, we do not have the capacity to say we want to grow you. So we send you, say, maybe to Outbox. Maybe we send you to Hive Collab. So it depends on the innovation hub's provision or package or value proposition at a certain stage, why we brought Startup Uganda, or why we said let's work together as innovation hubs and begin an association, is if I am done here, I should hand you over to the right person who can maybe accelerate you or scale you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Takayuki, you are partners on the Uganda Innovation Week. Are you looking at expanding that and not just being partners for this 1 week to actually getting into, to getting more involved when it comes to tech buzz, when it comes to Startup Uganda?
Yes, of course. We are doing a lot of activities, and we also have a lot of plans to strengthen Uganda ecosystems. For example, together with Ministry of ICT, JICA just committed to start a new project targeting at the capacity building of ICT talent and also entrepreneurs. In addition to that, recently we have received the official request from Ministry of Trade to dispatch a JICA expert to the ministry to strengthen, especially startup ecosystems. And also, next month, December, our neighbor country, Kenya, will host the Kenya Innovation Weeks. So JICA will also send some JICA-supported startups to Kenya Innovation Week. So we want to promote regional expansions. And also next year, January, we are planning to bring some Japanese companies to Uganda. We are going to organize a business tour. So to do so, we want to do facilitate a matching between Japanese company investors and Ugandan startups.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now, obviously, globally, we've been told that November, December months of innovation. That's why we have some of the celebrations and events taking place in Uganda. We'll take a short commercial break, and we're still talking about Uganda Innovation Week that is going to take place between the 22nd to the 24th of November this year. And the theme being that they're trying to unlock the missing links in Uganda's entrepreneurial ecosystem. Let's take a break, and we'll be back.
Peak of the day on UBC.
You can only become a leader when there are problems.
Behind the headlines.
So what are we deliberating?
Whether rats from another country can be, somebody must be there to hold everybody accountable.
Every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
First of all, we as elites of Uganda, we have made Museveni the issue. I can tell Museveni is not the problem of Uganda. The problems of Uganda are much deeper. We can change the next 20 presidents and we'll still be this roundabout.
Was brought to you by.
Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode super easy.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
A good school doesn't tolerate violence against children.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
You're still watching Good Morning Uganda Extra with me, Sharon Chomdisha. I'm in studio today and we're still talking about Uganda Innovation Week that is going to be taking place from the 22nd of November to the 24th of November under the theme Unlocking the Missing Links in Uganda's Entrepreneurial Ecosystem. On that very note, what are those links that we're unlocking?
Good question. So, what are the links we are unlocking in the Uganda Innovation Week?
Yeah.
Of course, like we most of the people know, but for purposes, just in case you don't know, there are so many links in terms of investment and access to investment. There is a lot of missing links in terms of the real entrepreneurs and the real ideas or the quality of ideas that entrepreneurs come with. All that we could say are missing links, but also looking at it from the perspective of human resources. There is a lot of people who in Uganda, we know that we have academic institutions that train young graduates, but by the time they come into the work environment, sometimes they actually do not have the right skills that are necessary. So in an event like Uganda Innovation Week happening on the 22nd to the 24th of November, we believe that there are so many links that are coming on board. We used not to have academia come on board in Uganda Innovation Weeks, but this time around academia is on board. And so what that means is they are possibly going to understand why startups and other entrepreneurs are crying on the issue of having or accessing human capital that is not ready. In fact, Grad Professionals Africa says that 70% of young graduates that onboard into a job, they spend 3 months before they deliver any value at all. But for them, when they're coming into the workplace, they expect to actually be paid right away. And that is why programs like Youth to Work under Challenges Uganda tells youth, go out and volunteer, because that is the only way you're going to get work experience that they ask you for. That is the only way you're going to network with maybe entrepreneurs or even workers who are going to, start telling you, you know what, you have volunteered here for 4 months, but have seen and identified your power and potential, and you can actually go here and get a job. So now people who are out there always thinking, I need to go immediately and start working and get employed, when you actually don't possess the right skills, then that becomes a missing link. And that is what we think that Uganda Innovation Week is going to unlock. Financial institutions will be in the house, angel investors will be in the house, students will be in the house. We have different pitch competitions where we have, of course, competitions coming from universities, competitions coming from the different innovation hubs. So it is going to be massive, and I actually implore every young person out there that has been thinking about missing an event like this, if you can't be there physically, at least tune in Zoom. It will be live streamed. All the 3 days will be live streamed. So if you're limited by your physical location, maybe you're in Gulu, maybe you're in Lukunjiri, maybe you're in Kabale or Mbale, you can just tune in Zoom and at least keep track of this conversation. I just don't feel like anyone who is mostly a youth should miss this particular one. In fact, if you miss, I don't know the best word to use to describe you, but you are definitely losing and losing so much.
Mr. Takayuki, what have been some of the observations when it comes to even the theme, saying that we're trying to unlock the missing links in Uganda's entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Missing link, there are a lot. A lot of access, missing access to the financial institutions, missing access to the mentors, missing access to the maybe opportunities. But fact is, country is growing, the number of population is growing, opportunity is growing, so there are a lot of possibilities. So I think you don't need to be so worried about. So just to take advantage of this kind of venue and platform, be connected with the potential investors, potential mentors, potential financial institute or other development partners, that will really fill the gap of the link and also strengthen the already existing links.
When it also comes to how many active innovations or active startups do you have?
Well,
and you supported?
there are so many thriving so far. There are not so many of them. There are so many that are starting, not very many again, because we are saying we need as many entrepreneurs as possible. But just to give those few that are making it in the space so far, we have one of the startups that started in about 2015 and is called Ensibuko. Okay. Ensibuko so far has about, it is a cloud saving platform and mostly used by circles. At the moment, it has about 200,000 users. 200,000 users. And maybe just to bring you back, mobile money was a startup. And you know how traditionally banks have been in the space, but you find that over less than 20% of Ugandans are actually doing banking directly in banks. But over, I think, more than about 40% of the people are using mobile money. So the potential of startups, the potential of startups is immense. And maybe the other one is Zeno. Zeno is an investment platform. You can invest by just going online and create an account and start investing. And so Zeno has about 27,000 users and members. Then we have Safe Border, over 20,000 riders. What is that? Those are jobs all being created by these startups. We have quite a number. We have Tubayo, we have Sente, we have Kasaiba, just recently signed the Kalita Kayora bus transportation. You know, there is really a lot of startups that are trying to make it in this space, but despite the challenges they go through, they are actually making it through. And I think even JICA has those that they have been supporting who are already doing quite much. Yeah, we also have Rocket Health, just to be, we have trips, we had a company called Ugabus, and it was acquired. Acquisition in a startup, there are 3 stages. The first stage is, of course, you start either to continue and progress. The second one is start and sell. The third one is fail. Those are 3 stages of a startup. You continue and become an SME, you get acquired, or you certainly fail. So considering that those are the stages of starting up a business, then you will find that one of the successful stories we've had is Ugabus being acquired by a Nigerian, startup called Trips. So every startup would want to have that story, and you must have had a lot of acquisitions happening in the space globally. Just recently, I think one of the HelloSign was acquired by Dropbox. HelloSign is a remote signing platform. So it was acquired by Dropbox. I remember also another, MailChimp was acquired by another bigger company. And we have seen all these stories of acquisitions. No. Those ones are not from Uganda. Yes. But in Uganda, at least we have had Trips, get acquired. There are those who are also not generally acquired, but bought off by other companies, just like mergers. Yes. But in startups, we often say the 3 stages is continue and become an SME or get acquired, or certainly you might fail completely.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the things that sort of happens, and it in businesses, even in Uganda, for example, if you went downtown, you might find 2 or 3 stalls selling the same things, and they're almost targeting the same customers. They're doing the same thing, which there's a lot of duplication when it comes to even innovation. Like someone's doing something that is almost the same as the other, and the difference might be the name.
Okay.
What is then the expectation that you are going to succeed? Like what, with that being like a big player, and that's why I was even curious on why we had a Science and Innovation Week, and then we also have something else, but you clarified and said it's not even competition.
Okay.
There's a lot of duplication when it comes to business, when it comes to entrepreneurship. Have you also seen that happening in many of those? And what's even the advice that you're always giving people?
Maybe let me approach the question like this way. In entrepreneurship, we don't believe in copying. Though so many people think they copied my idea, I won't share my idea because I fear people copying it. In fact, you should share to as many people as possible. And we also say that if you claim someone stole your idea, it means certainly you are not the right person to implement it. Because anyone who starts an idea, goes ahead and builds it, and anyone who says I am copying will always benchmark on you because they know they copied from you. So having people with same businesses isn't new. It is everything we do every day. The shops we have in our localities, all of them certainly sell the same things. But sometimes what
set you apart
exactly is a few things, and here I'm not talking about from the perspective of startups, like any other business, because I understand there are some businesses or business owners that are watching us maybe at this particular time. Sometimes it is the customer service you provide that makes everyone want to come to buy from you. It's certainly because of the variety of services you have. If I come to buy something here, I won't think about something else. Maybe sometimes it's because you have said, this is my niche, I only sell these things, and everyone will say,
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Apologies about that small hiccup, but we're still talking about Uganda Innovation Week. Startup Uganda is one of those, actually is the one that is helping set up this event for startups in Uganda, for us to unlock the missing links in Uganda's entrepreneurial ecosystem and to even get a little bit of more details on what the event is about. So we've gone so far into the conversation and we're talking about duplication of ideas, but in terms of what then sets you apart, let's maybe do that in terms of innovation.
Cool. So sometimes starting up, we also believe that there are very few opportunities and if people do not know what an invention is, it is the creativity coming from the mind. So in startup space, we believe that we are doing quite a lot of innovation. There is already everything else existing, and we are just coming in to improve what is there. Have you improved on the process? The production process, or even the speed and all that. So when we say duplication, it's sometimes it's the same businesses that we've seen contemporary, but what sets this as an innovation or what sets this differently is the ability for someone to add that unique value proposition, have that unique value proposition on top of what has been provided for or offered. Yeah. So it's not just about duplication, it's about that little touch, that little tweak you come in and put in, sets you apart. It potentially makes you able to sell beyond your locality to the rest of the neighboring places, to the rest of the region, and globally eventually. So it's really just that little thing you add to the process or the product.
Okay. Mr. Takayuki, most of the ideas in Uganda, even globally actually, but in Uganda in the context of Uganda Innovation Week, most of the startups are beautiful ideas, but then they tend to just stay on paper. How is JICA helping to make sure that it is beyond that and these innovations can actually see the light of the day?
Yeah, I think one of the way is to be connected with various stakeholders. A strong network definitely will help to improve your businesses. And also, as he mentioned, the lack of capacity sometimes, it's also very important. So together with various stakeholders like accelerator or ministries, we'd like to strengthen the capacity of those entrepreneurs. And also platform issues. Rich platform is really accelerate the growth. So we'd like to also expand and strengthen the startup ecosystem. That means the easier access to financiers, easier access to the market, easier access to the opportunity of building capacities of individuals as well as startups.
Okay. Speaking about the 3 days that are going to, the 3 days of the event, Uganda Innovation Week, from the 22nd to the 24th of this month, what should we expect, or what should the people who are coming in expect?
Good question. we wouldn't be here talking, or I wouldn't be here if there is not a lot that we hope for the Kampala, for the Uganda Innovation Week, sorry. Number one, you should expect conversations about investors and investment. You should expect conversations about pitching. How do you pitch your idea to a potential investor? And by the way, pitching is not only to investors. It could be to potential business partners. It could be to potential collaborators. And certainly employees, because every day we hire. If I do not believe in your business, I'm just coming as an employee, I'm going to waste your resources because I don't believe in what you're building. But if I pitch to you very well, I might even end up even saying, you know what, I am willing to work for this organization irrespective of how much they are paying me, because I am very passionate and interested in what these people do. I have found myself in your organization. So about pitching, we should expect conversations about policy, and I think part of it, there will be conversations about the progress of where has Uganda reached in terms of creating a favorable environment, interventions that support startups. Mm-hmm. Then we shall definitely be having conversations about capacity building, conversations about, we have development partners coming on board with opportunities. Opportunities for investment, opportunities for trainings, opportunities for collaboration, and what else would I say without saying networking? Mm-hmm. I mean, today, and there is nothing that challenges networking in any business, because that is the only way you get partners, potential employees, potential collaborations, and name it. So we believe that those are very important sessions, and of course, I want to emphasize, learning should never stop. And so if you want to actually benefit or to start or ever wanted to start a business, Uganda Innovation Week is, this particular one is something you shouldn't even think about missing, because every time we procrastinate saying, I will start next year or the other year or the other year, then you actually, that is why I said earlier that if someone says they stole my idea, you are not the right person to implement. You better start now. You better attend Kampala Uganda Innovation Week and be able to assimilate this information and start planning on how to make it work. And also networking with the different innovation hubs and entrepreneurship support organizations, knowing who to approach with what challenge, with what problem, with what opportunity, so that you are able and capable of seizing the time. Mm-hmm. That's basically what.
Mr. Takayuki, with JICA on board, what should we expect in the 3 days?
3 days, we are going to showcase JICA-supported startups. And also the last day, on 24th of November at 9 a.m., we are going to host a preliminary session, panel discussions, inviting government stakeholders and also successful startups, and also even Japanese investors. So the audience or participants, they can feel and see what is the reasons of success and failure, what are the next way forward, and what kind of support they can be expected from the outside donors, including JICA.
Okay. Now, before we close, any parting remarks for innovators and about the 3 days event?
I couldn't wait for that. So I want to say that as Uganda Innovation Week comes closer and closer, we have been having pre-events. Pre-events are events that are trying to do the same, provide awareness and capacity building in the same process. We have about 5 events that are in the pipeline. I think one of them is Experiences of Entrepreneurs by Hive Collab. We have mentorship models, what works and what doesn't work. Can mentorship be formalized by Tech Buzz Hub? We have how to use SSI by Diwala. We have another one by Tech Buzz Hub about career guidance. And these are information or opportunities you can find on Uganda Innovation Week platforms, especially Twitter, even Facebook, and the website is uiwug.com. So if you go there, then you find the agenda, you find the speakers, you find all information about Uganda Innovation Week. And my last one is, I implore everyone who are watching us today to not forget to tune in to to Uganda Innovation Week, happening on the 22nd to the 24th of November, starting from 9 a.m. going up to about 8 p.m. So you can choose the intervals where you are available if you are not available all the time, but also feel free to come to Miss Steel. That is where the physical event is going to happen, and engage and interact with the different investors, entrepreneurs, innovation hubs, development partners, and certainly media. I definitely believe you will be there, Sharon.
Yes, we'll be there.
Thank
Mr. Takayuki?
Thank you very much. I can say that Uganda has a lot of potential. And JICA, we organize 2 business competitions called Ninja competitions. And actually, we have received the second biggest number of applications from Uganda. We're targeting at 19 African countries. And Uganda is number 2 in terms of the number of applications. That means so active and also a lot of potential. And Uganda is better than other African countries in terms of entrepreneurship. So that's why JICA is committed to invest on this sector, and we would like to grow together with Ugandan startups. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes,
That's really exciting.
I know.
Uganda is the best.
Yes, it's
by JICA,
big countries when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Mr. Takayuki and Mr. Twesige, for gracing today and coming through to tell us about Uganda Innovation Week. It will be between the 22nd of November to the 24th of November at Mistil Hotel. Time?
9 up to 8 p.m. 9 a.m.
Yes.
up to 8 p.m.
9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Make sure you're there, get to interact, be a part of the panel discussions. There's so much for you if you're an innovator and an entrepreneur person. This is a time for you to, try out the things that you've had on paper to see if you can actually implement, and if that can be a viable idea that might change the world, and even you yourself being a creator. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Chomjisha. It's about the Uganda Innovation Week, and under the theme, Unlocking the Missing Links in Uganda's Entrepreneur Ecosystem. Be a part of the discussion as well. There's a Zoom link. Check out their website as well for you to get to know more about them and to be a part of this life-changing event, or events perhaps for the 3 days. Thank you so much. My name is Sharon Chomjisha once again. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
A logical, deeper conversation.
How many teachers in Uganda did you consult? But there's a mistake we are making.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Which is good. We went to this school, we ran it to Western, we ran it to Northern, we ran, then you come.
Isn't that an achievement?
Objective and non-partisan.
Honorable Minister, there were a number of points. I want to start with you.
Straight from the hearts of open-minded men and women.
Money tends to move faster at night. So when
people are not counting,
don't take it for granted.
Candid and authentic.
Because Uganda is not Thailand.
That's not correct, and we should stop that kind of mentality. So what I'm saying
that's
is
a trick question. Don't answer.
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that.
Tell him you speak Luo.
I think that's where we are beginning to have a problem.
I think what is going to kill the parish model are all the misconceptions on how it's supposed to run.
I know that the Prime Minister is listening.
Behind the headlines.
Charles, let us agree. We liberalized the economy.
We are several nations put together.
Why don't you appreciate that?
What if it fails?
I'm happy
and
to
he's
answer.
a good lawyer because Amin is not in power.
The parish development committee is functional. It is there. That there is a parish chief, that the beneficiary is doing.
So we look at expenditure. We don't look at revenue. And that is the challenge we are giving them from Minister of Finance.
Your fountain of new knowledge, flowing into the mass body of knowledge.